Hi, and welcome to Breakthrough Science. Benjamin here. This is another session about recent science news. As you might have already discovered, I'm not live today. This is because I have a series of experiments running next week and I cannot do the live stream on Wednesday. But anyhow, I summed up for you the top 8 science news happening late May. So have fun with that. The first one is about a current outbreak of Nipah, a virus in South India, state of Kerala. Nipah is together with Ebola virus and Zika virus in the WHO list for pandemic diseases. And it was the first outbreak in south of India, and this is of course a bit worrying, even though Nipah is the virus can only be transferred via fluid exchange. So it's not that tremendously contagious. If we normally think about evolution, we think about a time scale of thousands, even millions of years. But just recently we discovered that it can go much faster in even big organisms. We know for bacteria they can evolve just in a lab experiment. But a saltwater trout, which was put in one of the lakes of Michigan, evolved to survive better and had significant gene changes after just 100 years. So 100 years ago, a Californian saltwater trout was put into a lake in Michigan for sport fishing, and scientists now showed that there was a significant effect of gene changes which allowed the trout to live in this new environment, which is an amazing short period of time for such a big organism. Did you actually ever ask yourself why birds survived while dinosaurs died? So birds or the birds we know of are very related to trees. And one big factor of the mass extinction of the dinosaurs was that all the trees just died because of the darkness caused by all the smog in the air and the blocking of sunlight. These birds might have lived just much closer to the ground, and they were not that dependent on trees at all. There are also pretty cool news in the field of neuroscience again. Our neuroscience combined with genetics. Researchers found out that only 3 genes, or mainly 3 genes, were the reason why the human brain developed that fast and that strongly. So our ancestors with a brain capacity of 0.5 liters, with a volume of 0.5 liters, changed to a modern brain capacity to 1.4 liters. Which might have led to all these significant changes the human has in comparison to other animals. And these 3 genes belonging to the Notch2NL group, and Notch genes are very well known in neurobiology to have a significant effect on our brain development, were linked to also all sorts of brain affecting diseases like schizophrenia. So research in this area might be very interesting to help people with this certain disorders, and to understand better how humans became so different from most of the other animals. So great news in neuroscience. Which organism type, which group of organisms store the most carbon on Earth? Plants. Plants are absolutely awesome. They produce oxygen, they fixate carbon, they are basically producing our food or the food for our food. Whatever you are, vegetarian, meat eater, I don't care. Plants are awesome and you should agree to that. A recent study showed that they're even more awesome because they store basically almost all of our carbon. 450 gigatons of carbon is just stored in plants. 550 gigatons is stored in all organisms together. Animals only store 2 gigatons in comparison to the 450 gigatons of plants. So there is a huge difference. Bacteria about 70 gigatons, and as said, plants are the absolute winner in this race with 450 gigatons, even though their diversity is much lower than in the animal kingdom or in the bacterial kingdom. Going from plants back to neurobiology, or neurobiology meeting engineering meeting prosthetics, there was a tremendously cool publication, maybe a bit scary, but also tremendously cool, about linking or making artificial nerves. So these artificial nerves made in an insect gave scientists a direct link to the nervous system, which would be a complete game changer for prosthetics. So they just showed it now in a bug, but not in a bacteria, but in a bug, so in an insect. Normally use bug for bacteria, so don't be confused if you watch more to this channel. I will keep bug for bacteria. Anyhow, so for an insect, they just showed it for an insect, so it will be very interesting to see that developed for the first prosthesis, like arm prosthesis or leg prosthesis. So pretty cool stuff out there. And of course, last but not least, I have to do some space news. And they're really cool space news because Alexander Gerst, the German astronaut, launches his second mission, or is launched for his second mission today, 6th of June 2018. And this mission called Horizons, will be in particular interesting from a European point of view because Alexander Gerst is the second time on the space station, but he's also the second commander of the space station, the second European commander of the space station in all time. So that's very exciting to have Alex up there and to see what experiments he's performing and what he's doing as the commander of the space station. So Alex, have a good flight. To all of you, see you next week. And I hope you enjoyed this video about the 8 top science news of late May. See you soon.